Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the corners. The dreaded corners. They're never fun. They're always messy, but they can be done. So here you see I have just used a ton of tape. This wall, like I said, is textured, so you can see my texture. So it is harder for the stencil to stick. If you have a smooth wall, I suggest you do use a little spray, repositionable spray adhesive on the back of your stencil. Makes it much easier. But even if you don't want to do that, just use a lot of tape. You want to make sure it's secure. I lined up my registration marks. I showed you before how I did that. When I'm stenciling, I put a piece of tape underneath. I just do a little stencil, little paint through the registration mark so I can line it up again. So I have my corners, that one's covered with tape, lined up with the registration marks. I've fitted it into the corner the best I can. I've just kept, with my hand. It is messy, the stencil's wet, so, you get a little paint, but it's water-based, washes right off. And this is where the level comes in really handy. If you don't have one of these that clips on, use a small level. You'll see, look, right on. So now I'm good to go. And just remember, you really want to offload onto a paper towel if you're using a brush, or I'm using the foam roller because this is going much quicker. And you just want to start stenciling, rolling, and then I don't know if I can do this with one hand because I have to hold my iPhone with the other. You just get into the corners the best you can, and I'm going to have to get a brush. So I'm going to take a stencil brush, which, of course now it's across the room, so I'm not going to be able to show you. But you take a stencil brush. I'm just going to go right up to the corner with this, and because I don't want to wedge my roller in there, because then you will get a big glob of paint in there. After this, I'm just going to take a dry stencil brush and do the very edge of the corners. And then you will be done. All right, I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So let me just back up so you get a good view. Just, you can't use too much tape. That's all I can say. You don't want this falling down while you're in the middle of stenciling. But if it does, just line it back up and keep going. So remember, you want to offload, you want a fairly dry roller. Otherwise, you are going to get a lot of seeping underneath your stencil. Better to go over it twice if you want it darker than to do heavy, because it will just be a mess, trust me. Light is the key. And again, on these textured walls, don't use the orange core tape. That's delicate because it does not stick to these textured walls. You want the blue tape that's just a regular, I don't even know what this is. I'm using Scotch 3M. It's just the regular blue tape with a white core.